Everybody has to realize that he is part of the big project of making Angola a prosperous country with solid democratic institutions and open to the future.
Detractors of former president and strongman Jose Eduardo dos Santos say his legacy is defined by his failure to build just such a political structure in Angola. That's despite being in power from 1979 to 2017, making him the second longest ruling president in post-colonial Africa. Dos Santos died 5 years after he left power, and he leaves behind a controversial legacy. He is revered by many Angolans as one of the main leaders who freed the country from Portuguese colonial rule. But he and his family are also accused of running a kleptocratic regime that siphoned off billions of dollars from the oil-rich Southwest African nation. Dos Santos came to power just 3 years after Angola won its War of Independence. His People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, or MPLA, remained staunchly communist, and much of his rule was spent fighting the US-backed UNITA rebels. It was also spent securing the second richest oil deposits in Africa. The MPLA and Dos Santos kept the upper hand throughout the 4-decade-long conflict. More than 15,000 people were killed during the Civil War. After the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, Dos Santos transitioned the MPLA into a social democratic party and negotiated a peace deal with UNITA for a multi-party system. Dos Santos managed to win elections in 1992, and UNITA reneged on the peace deal after accusing Dos Santos of electoral fraud. But he remained popular with large parts of the country, while the rebels were pushed to hideouts in neighboring Democratic Republic of the Congo. His free market reforms transformed the planned economy. Rather than an equitable distribution of wealth, however, his reforms led to the creation of a new rich elite led by his own family. Dos Santos continued to hang on to power as Angola's oil riches grew to an estimated $69 billion a year, according to the IMF. After being re-elected in 2012, he said he would not seek re-election in 2017 after a number of corruption scandals involving his family led to public protests. Initially, the election of former cabinet minister and loyalist Joao Lourenço as the new president appeared to mean the status quo would not be disturbed. But Lourenço quickly instituted corruption inquiries against Dos Santos' family, particularly his daughter and heir apparent Isabel Dos Santos. The pressure forced Dos Santos into exile in 2019, but he returned to Angola last year after a slight recovery. He will be remembered as a man with a mixed legacy, who liberated Angola from colonial rule, but whose corrupt regime kept one of Africa's richest countries mired in poverty.